of people that were going to take part. Jill, you were first. So
Okay.
what we did last time, we asked the person first on the list, do you have any questions, ideas, or share any ideas? But you've already said you're here as a fact-finding. So
it is fact-finding, but I would say if you don't use the email facility on the app to email your club, do, because it's fabulous.
Thank you.
That's what I would say.
Good start. I don't know if Karen's here. Karen Wapple from Aldridge.
No, I'm stepping in for Karen because she can't come.
Oh, okay. No,
you've got the joys of me today.
Okay. Did you guys have any questions, thoughts, ideas? Yes. Or do you want to share how you use the app with other clubs?
We're getting to start with. It was a bit slow off the start, but we've tried to encourage everybody to use it at every opportunity. One thing is handy is the training runs. It's great to be able to check in to see who's going on the training runs to make sure that we know who's at the club. So there's a couple of questions. Do you want me to raise those now?
Yep. You can raise questions. Yeah, this is more about just sharing ideas and that kind of thing. Okay. This kind of webinar rather than the support thing. But if you've got any definite support issues, you raise them now, and then other people can get the idea. But feel free to email in anytime.
There's one that Karen I wrote down, and I've left it upstairs, so I'll have to go and get that one. But there's two things for me that we're using. We're using the calendar to put our events in. I would like to see an actual visual calendar. I don't know whether that's possible with the events in on the visual calendar. That's just me. I like, you look at a calendar and you've got it like kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Like a calendar like that, but with squares in, with the events in the squares.
Yeah, I get that. You can do that on the club portal because generally on bigger screens.
Right, okay.
But the app is generally used on small devices, so traditional calendars like that don't really lend themselves.
There's an icon that's got the calendar on, but like when you click on it, it's just got like the list of dates
for training,
for events that we do. So on the calendar, we like if I click onto the calendar, it just lists the events or what we've got booked into the calendar.
Yeah, okay. So which are in date order.
Scroll down to see what's on. Whereas I guess it'd just be nice to have like a little calendar that you can just immediately see that there's something on that date.
Okay. Yeah, we could probably do that as a. Ian, what are your thoughts on
a thought
traditional calendar in an app?
Yeah, so I guess this is partly down to the level at which the amount of events that a club puts onto their calendar. So if I look at my club's calendar, it's got a grand total of 3 events coming up. So having a calendar view is less necessary because there aren't that many social events coming up.
We're quite a social club.
You're obviously far more social than we are, which I could have guessed knowing you're involved, Joe.
Of course.
So yeah, I can see the benefit. You've got a sort of a month view with red dots, for example. I guess you're thinking in days when there's something on, you click on the red dot and it would take you to that particular event for more details. So like the view that you get on an iPhone calendar type concept. Yeah, that's something to look at.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah. So, but the other thing is that we have found that if we put stuff on the calendar, so for instance, we had a curry night a few weeks ago.
I'm changing club.
I know.
Yeah, I'm moving.
We've got a beer and Skittles night on Friday. What can I say? So, but what we found is that, like, say for instance, the curry we had at 6 o'clock, and we sat at the curry house. We've got like about 30 people that had booked in for it, or 35 people. And what we found was there was like 4 seats that were still empty. So I said, oh, who are we waiting for? So I clicked on the calendar, but it had gone. The event had gone. So
I see.
It would be handy to actually still have the
training.
Event
it stays around for few hours after.
Because we do at the moment now, we're doing a breakfast run. And so basically we meet at 8:30, we go for a run for an hour out and back, suitable for all of the abilities if anybody wants to pinch the idea. So we meet at the pub, we meet at Wetherspoon's pub, and literally we all go out for half an hour along the canal, run to the canal, half an hour out, half an hour back, suitable for all abilities. You can run it, you can walk it, and if people just want to turn up to have breakfast, they can do. So we come back 9:30, we're having breakfast. So, but again, the same sort of thing. So what I have to do now is I have to put a later time on the calendar so that I can see that when we get back, who's in, who's coming, so that I can see if we're missing anybody.
Yeah,
so
that makes perfect sense.
Kind of stay around a little bit more.
Yeah, I can do that. We can do that without an app update. That's just a back end thing. We can get it to stick around. That's not a problem at all.
Okay.
But to everybody, really, if you've got anything like that, just drop us an email, because that's, you know, if that's been an issue for a while, just drop us an email. We can get things like that acted on. But yeah, we can do that.
Can I ask a question as well?
Go
so
on,
like
quick.
On our training events, like, so we've got all our groups on our club night, and so obviously we click who's in, and everybody you know, can see who's doing the run. And then I've been allocated an admin role on our app. I can actually put people in, because some people are going, oh, I can't use the app. That's fine, I'll check you in, no problem. Then this Tuesday we had somebody put themselves in the wrong group, and they couldn't click I'm out to then click into I'm in the other group.
Because the session had already started.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let me look into that, see what we can. Yeah, the admin should have been able to take them out.
Right, okay.
So you as an admin could have gone into their group.
Right.
The one that they put themselves in the wrong group, remove them.
Yeah.
And then added them into the correct group.
Right, okay.
Because a normal person can't do that, because that could mess with the data, but an admin could do that in their app.
Right, okay. I think we just did such a rush because she really, so we just went and we hadn't got time, but she was just saying, I can't click out, click out. So she told us what she was doing, and we left it at that. But I just thought, oh, okay, I'll rise that up.
An admin could have changed that around.
Okay. So there's one more thing, but I'll have to go and have a look what it is, because I wrote it down.
All right. I guess Danielle's had a hand up for a while, so we just
carry on.
No, Joe, it was more for you, Joe. So we've just started utilising the newsletter function. Obviously, it's not a calendar, but if you can do the newsletters weekly, you can pull out events and it gets sent to people's emails and a notification. We've literally done our first newsletter this week. It's really good.
We do a newsletter each week, so and there is a list of stuff that's going on. But it's just as a quick look, because we do park run takeovers, we do socials, we do, as well as the running, we're doing like relays, cross country. So there's lots of things that like go on in the calendar. So that's why it was just like, just at a quick glance, like, as I say, like in like the way you said, like there's a red dot, it'd be quite, there must be something on then, and click on it.
We'll certainly look at
like that, you know.
Yeah.
To be fair, Joe, it sounds like if it wasn't a newsletter, it'd just be pages and pages and pages anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got at the moment. When we click onto the calendar, we've literally got a big list of events going on.
Mark, did you had your hand up then? There was a point.
Yeah, basically just on that calendar.
We did have, we changed it around.
Would it help if it was using the Google Calendar link? So
not every club uses the Google Calendar, that's the thing. So, and that just pulls data in from the Google Calendar.
Okay, but if they added their calendar event to the Google Calendar, then they would be able to see it in a calendar view as well as.
But I think Joe's right. It's something we can certainly do in the app. That's not a problem. Danielle, did you have anything else? Because you were next on my list of people that tapped in. So the floor is yours.
One thing that I've got fed back, so we tend to have 2 training groups on the same night. So on a Tuesday, we have an off-roader and a road session. Just wondering, we can't set it as the same time. Now that might be us, but it's like we have to do them at different times.
Why?
I don't know,
Right.
Andy, you might know better than me because you're the one setting them
So
up.
explain it. A training session.
For example, a club session is at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same. So we have two groups, sorry, road, off-road. And for some reason, we can't have the off-road set at 7 o'clock as well. So we have to set it at 8:55.
Right, no. So a training session is just a bunch of groups that meet at the same time. They don't have to meet at the same location. So if you've got 2, 3, 4 groups meeting at 7 o'clock, no matter what they're doing, that is the training session. Then the groups can meet at different locations. So it sounds like you would have one session for 7 o'clock, and then all those groups, off-road, track, road runners, would all be in the same session, but there would be different groups within the session.
We've got the group set up, Andy, but I'll let you make it.
Yeah, if I can just take over from what Danielle was saying with same club, the situation we've got is that when we set the training sessions up, we set a session up for a group, but we have like a session for off-road, we have a session for road runners, and we can't set the session for the off-road group at the same time as we set the session for the road.
So you've got an off-road group,
yep,
and you've got a road runner group.
Yep.
They all go in the same session.
But they're doing different sessions. So
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. All the session is a container for groups to go in. So a session is at a particular time. Right. It doesn't matter what the groups are doing within that session.
Right.
And it doesn't matter where they're meeting. It's just a box to put groups in that meet at the same time.
Got you.
So all those groups would go in the same session, if you like. Yep. They don't have to be doing the same thing.
Right.
They don't even have to be meeting in the same place.
So what we've been doing is setting the session up and saying we're meeting here. This is the session being run. So we'll have a coach session on Tuesday night. So we'll say, right, we're doing this set at this place. Starts at 7. Sign in, and then we've got an off-road leader, whatever, who then goes in and puts an off-road session in.
Yeah.
But she can't do it at the same time, so it goes in at 5 past and not whatever. So it's
the same within the system. It's that is the same session.
Yeah.
So it's just the date and time is a session.
Right.
All the other details can be different. So you could have 4 groups all meeting at the same place.
Right.
Or they could all be doing like Ian's club. They all generally meet at different places.
Okay.
It's the same time, so it's the same session.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have there's a coach group. There's various paced different time groups, and we're all meeting at different places, doing different things. Right. It's just in effect a session is this is Wednesday night training.
Yeah, okay, I get that. So we've obviously not attacked it in the right format then, because we've set it up as a session for road users, and then we've gone back and set it for somebody else.
Yeah.
And it just
so the group is for road.
Yeah.
And the group is for trail.
Yeah.
But the session is 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
Right. So because we're putting the description in, and then we can't put a description in for the off-road group, so it's just a session.
You can put a group description in as well.
Right. Okay.
So you can put an overarching session description.
Yeah.
And then you can put different descriptions for each group as well if they're doing different things.
Okay. I'll have a look at that then, because I've got the one on the screen.
There, Andy, it's probably a lot better to manage anyway. It looks better.
That's a different group.
Yeah.
Joe, you might be best sending me a screenshot. I can't see on the website.
Sorry. I was just trying to show that we would like under our training sessions. So like tonight we've got 2 groups.
Yeah.
On Tuesday night we've got 8 groups. So we've got it listed, which I don't know whether you can see that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Then
okay,
when you click into it, so you click into the session,
Yeah.
and then each group we've got listed. No, it's not going to.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. On those,
It's listed of what we do. So we've got like a social group, a walking group, a 5K training group, a 4-mile run, a 6-mile run, a race training group. And in each of those groups, we list where the meeting, what the training session is.
Right.
So in each of those groups, and they're all the same time, they're all at 7 o'clock.
Gotcha.
But they're all different groups, but we do it in the training session, if that makes sense.
I wondered why I'd set up an off-road group, and I didn't really get why.
Yeah.
I know.
I can see it. Yeah, I've got it.
Joys of Mac, I can actually bring my mobile phone up on my Mac screen and then
Oh,
share
well
it.
done.
Got it.
So that's a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So that's
Yep.
our Wednesday night training, which is down as a session. I click on that. I've then got 6 groups within that, and you'll see there group locations may vary. That's a general note.
Yeah.
And then I can scroll through. I've got the coach group, different groups there, all doing different things.
Gotcha.
And they could either, in this case, they are all meeting at War Memorial Park because of the particular Wednesday of the month it is.
Yeah.
But other days, if I go back to this one here, you'll see there isn't a general, we're all meeting at War Memorial Park. That note's not been put in for that session. And so you'll see different places for sessions.
Got it.
With different groups within that.
Perfect.
Got it.
Sorry, we took over there. It is a support group.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Ian, on your
Yep.
screen, could you go to the sidebar menu?
Yep.
The hamburger, all the way down to the bottom. Go to set the app settings. Yeah, about and settings, and then settings, the first one with the 2 cogs. Right, just on the training view. So the second one down, it's got training view, session view.
Yeah.
You've got session, which is the list Ian had up. If
Right.
you click it to full, Ian, and then
Yep.
go back to your training.
Yep. Probably need to refresh, don't I? that-
No, it'll change it
No, it's done
automatically.
automatic, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, or just click the training in the bottom tab bar at the bottom next to the home button. Yeah, click that one.
I think it's already on it, so it's
Yeah,
doing
it's
it.
already on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that what that does, it lists everything in one rather than having just the sessions listed. You've got all the groups and all the sessions listed together. So you can, if you've got color coded groups, some people prefer to see everything in one go.
Yep.
And some people, like Ian had his, just prefer to see the dates, and then because I know when I'm going to go training. I don't do a Thursday night training, I do Monday, Wednesday. So that's all I'm interested in. So you can have 2 different ways of viewing your training. So that might or might not help some people.
And you can see as well that I've got following set up. So the group that I normally go out with is the 7 to 8:30. So by clicking following as a user now, I just see the group that I regularly go out with and try to keep up with.
Right, everything makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
that
wondered what all
just
that
keeps
meant.
your list shorter.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Anything else you want me to show, Paul, while I'm...
No, that's all. That's all. Because a lot of people miss the training view thing, and some people like a full view, some people like a list view. So you've got the 2 options.
Yeah.
Was there anything else, Danielle?
I
Or
know
Andy?
Wendy's in the room, so I'll let Wendy direct a question regarding images. So.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, sorry, it's a bit late. I wondered if there's any chance that we can upload JPEGs rather than having to upload PDFs.
No, you can onto the message board.
Right.
There's a whole thing about security with JPEGs and PDFs, which is why we limit it to PDFs. Because within a PDF, you can add JPEGs and that kind of thing. You can get more information, keeps the file sizes down and that kind of thing. But JPEGs you can add to your message board.
Okay.
Or to group chats.
Rightio.
Does that make sense? And also with PDFs, if you just deal with PDFs, you've got your document folders. So you can upload documents into into your document folders as well. So it just keeps everything as standard.
Yeah.
I always, when I've got a question like that, tend to go, what was there a rationale behind why you were asking?
Yes.
It's just that on my system, I haven't got the software to save it as a PDF. So any images I've got are generally JPEGs. That was all.
What software are you using? Because I would say
mainly using my works Microsoft.
Yeah, there's probably an export as PDF or a print as PDF option.
So when you go into print, I'll show you. You go into print and you can, instead of printing, you save as PDF.
Right.
So you're not printed to a document, you print to a PDF file.
Right.
So most software will have that these days.
The latest versions of Office now have got file save as, and you can select PDF on there directly as well. on the latest version. But I know the earlier versions of Office that isn't on, so you have to do the printing method.
Yeah. Okay. This is fairly new software.
Yeah, so if it's fairly new, it should have it on.
Yeah.
One of the file save as options on there.
All else fails, use Google Docs, Wendy, because you can do it on Docs as well.
Yes.
Can you? I tend not to use that very much, but I must start to do that then.
Gary, you just raise your hand then. Gary or Jill?
The question I've got is, we use our app for, and we do it as you said, so we have 5 or 6 training groups, but we just cannot get people to sign up. It's impossible. And the run leaders never used to sign people in because we didn't have any Wi-Fi at the club, but now we have. But we just can't get people to sign into groups, however many times we ask.
So we got about 50% managed to sign in. How does anyone else get people to sign in?
Have you got a welfare officer?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of delegated a welfare officer to going around and talking to people, to ask them to sign in, and what, if there's any barriers of why they don't sign in. And that has really helped, because now most people on a Tuesday night sign in.
So, for example, last Tuesday, I was curious to know how many people did sign in and how many people came. So as we left, there were 25 signed in for runs and 44 people turned up. So it's poor show. But I'm the membership secretary, and I've been around and asked. And if there's people that haven't got the app, obviously I know from admin. It's not pulling out elephant's teeth.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to be honest, not a problem we've had with the club, with my club, in terms of getting people to do it. We had 1 or 2 who struggled to do it because they don't like using the app, or they just so we just, there's 1 or 2 there for who the run leader will just manually add.
Yeah.
But generally people do it. And the main reason is, and this has obviously got to be enforced for UKA insurance and all the rest of it going forwards, is if you're not signed up and on the list, you can't run.
Yeah.
Because you can only have so many people per run leader.
Yeah.
So if you don't sign up in advance, you could turn up on the night. Potentially you can't run because there are now too many people in the group for the number of run leaders. And secondly, if you're not on the list, you can't run because you're not insured. So I think if you're really struggling, my recommendation would be to start getting a bit strict.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? You said that if you don't run, you're not insured.
If you're not listed.
If you're not listed, see, at the end of the day, in order to get people to sign up, they need a reason.
Yeah.
So if that is an actual reason, then at least then we can push it from that point of view. So is that from your own personal insurance, or is that England Athletics insurance?
That's, you can see, if you're out for your run as a group and somebody has a fall and something happens, if you are listed, registered, signed in, so an official member of that group, you are covered by the UKA Athletics insurance. If you're not signed in, there's nothing to say that you weren't just somebody who happened to be running along the pavement at the same time as the group happened to be out running, and therefore you would potentially not be covered by the insurance. You would have to, in some way, shape or form, go through a very convoluted process, and knowing insurance companies, that they would be quite right to be able to turn around and say, well, your club has a mechanism for demonstrating that you were signed in. You didn't take that mechanism, therefore you were not part of the group that was running that night, and so you're not covered.
Okay, so I think we just need to be a bit firmer in all honesty.
There is another thing about signing into runs, because people can put their ICE details into the app.
Yeah, and if the
ICE details are, sorry, go on.
If the ICE details aren't in, you can't sign in for training.
Right. Well, that's a setting that some clubs have and some clubs don't.
Oh well, we must have it.
Well, you've got it. Yeah, you must have it set up. So your run leaders will have everybody's ICE details and be able to call the ICE contact directly from their app. If for other clubs, if they don't have that setting set up, we have had clubs in the past I know one person that had a stroke on a run. And unfortunately, one person had a heart attack and died at a training session. They were able to contact next of kin really quickly. So if you can't get people signing in another way, the shock and awe treatment, there is a reason for it.
I think we just need to be firm, to be honest.
Yeah.
How did people sign in before the app?
Sorry?
How did people sign in before the app?
It's a very relaxed club.
It's quite relaxed.
So basically, the club has been going 30, 40 years. They've never had the app. And it used to just be, whoever's there, just turn up. Run leaders, I think, is quite recent as such. So it's really sort of a very relaxed club. But now, because of how life has become more categorized as such, or more regimented as such, and your point on the insurance was a fair point. I think we just need to get up with the times. But the trouble is that the older members say, well, it never used to be like that.
We never used to sign in.
So it's a bit of a journey they've got coming.
Yeah, we've had that same issue, actually not with signing in. We haven't really had to push back on that, but the whole new set of rules coming in about the amount of LERF qualified trainers you have to have out with a group in order to be covered by UKA insurance as well.
So, I just wondered whether it was worth you having, like, say, a signing in sheet to kind of break it into a step to try and say, right, well, now you've signed in on the signing in sheet, perhaps we can get you signing in on the app and kind of like break them in gently.
No, please, I want to get rid of our signing in sheet.
Was that Danielle?
I want to get rid of our signing in sheet.
Yeah, we have. That's what we had originally. There's only one chap now that we kind of like do a manual. So because he hasn't got email and he hasn't even got like a mobile phone, he's like run out the arc. It's not a smartphone or anything.
What you can do with that, Joe, is you can still add them to obviously your club list within the app, therefore, and then the run leader can just search for them and add them to the list of people attending.
Quite often. People had problems, and we usually say, because like we have our announcements, and we usually say, as everybody signed in, if you can't sign in, if there's a problem or you're still not sure, please come and see one of the committee members, and we'll show you how to do it, or we'll sign you in. So and that's why we've had a good success rate, I think, now. But it took time. I mean, we've been going on it probably since October, when we talked about it at our IGM, and it's only now we're in February that we're now really, I'd say like 99% of people are signing in. So it's not been an overnight thing.
That's pretty good.
I was going to say, we've been active for ages. I think
they've never had a reason.
I'm going to be firm, whether they like it or not.
I guess one of the things that drove it for us was we sort of the big push on the app came actually we were using it during COVID, and when training was re-allowed after COVID, but of course under very strict guidance, the app became our means of policing and enabling that small group running together type process. Because of that formed the habit that then meant once all those restrictions were lifted, people were still got used to it, and therefore were quite happy to sign in. If you're doing it now, having not had that sort of censure for doing it, you've got to find other ways of scaring people into it, basically.
I think we're going to go down the insurance scaring. You need to do this.
Mark?
Not under discussion. Thank you.
I was going to say, Mark had his hand up about this thing.
I was just going to add from our side, we probably get 75 to 80% sign up now for training, but we started during the COVID time, so they kind of got into that routine of doing it. And the run leaders, when they do the initial briefing, always reiterate the signing in to kind of shock people into it, and they do mention the insurance side at the same time. So every time there's a session, they always say, if you haven't signed in, please do so in future, and they do remind them every session. So that seems to have helped.
Okay, thank you.
And a big stick, I assume, is very helpful.
Absolutely.
Ask them to sign out as well.
We're lucky to sign in, let alone sign out.
You're pushing it now.
No. Is there like a feature to sign out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Club can choose that. Yeah, masses don't have
Yeah,
it
we don't
on.
use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got
Because-
I
yes.
don't know whether
Yeah.
have we got
Yeah,
it?
you can choose. Some clubs like sort of close the night sort of thing. So there's a sign out that you can turn on from your club portal.
Just to make sure we've not lost anybody.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's a good
Mm.
idea, and I don't recall seeing it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can
Right.
turn it on. So from the training, from organised training
yeah,
page, and then go to the app settings tab or the app setup tab on the organised and training, and it's one of the switches on there is to turn on sign out as well.
right, okay,
I
And
think,
it just
Your
creates
admins
an
can
extra
do that
button
as
on your
well.
run leaders register there.
right.
and the run leaders, I think, can actually do the signing out
Yeah.
for people as well, can't they?
Yeah. The run leaders like the sign in, they do the sign out.
Yeah, they
It-
can
It's not something you
I
do on
think
an
that's
individual
quite good
basis.
for us, because not everybody comes back to the club afterwards. Some people just do the session and then go off on
Yeah.
the way.
Hmm.
So that'd be quite good. Okay. Could I ask, because I've got to go in a minute because I've
Yeah, sure.
a session. So Karen asked me to ask, and hopefully this will make sense. She said, is there a listed chart graph for a session?
Yeah. So from your club portal,
Yeah.
from organised training,
Yeah,
there's training activity tab.
right.
And on there, you can select the from date, the to date, or the other way around, to and from date, and you can download a spreadsheet of training.
Right.
So who attended, who led, who paid, if it was a paid group, and then the
is-
tabs are split per session as well.
So, and I think, can you have that as a graph?
It's up to you then. You just download a spreadsheet
Right.
because everybody wants to do something different with the data. So
Right.
you've got a raw spreadsheet and then you can set that up however you like. If you want to
Right.
create a graph from that data, you can do.
Right. Okay. Okay. Right. I've written that down to try and tell her. Okay. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's me. Ooh.
Okay. Anybody else got any thoughts, ideas, musings? Go on, Mark.
I was going to ask on the emergency button. We had a committee meeting last night, and women's running safety was brought up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned that it was an option on the app, and they said, "Well, where does the data go?" So my first question was, "Is it being used?" And secondly, was is the data held by? It's obviously by you guys, but is it available to us locally?
It's you've got the map in the app to show you where the incidents happened. This is very, very timely because my running club today sent out an email to all members about using the feature and about women's safety, not just women's safety, but as men, we've got to admit it is women that bear the brunt of street harassment. So our club had an email about that, and then a member from Ian's running club works for Coventry City Council in safeguarding, and they had a multi-agency meeting today with West Midlands Police, and they want that data. It's anonymized, so it's just location, time of the incident. So we've obviously, it generates a heat map of where these incidents are occurring. So they've got a multi-agency strategy then to use that data to better locate resources. So yes, it is being used.
Okay.
And also the whole reason of that came about was there was a thing on BBC Breakfast News over Christmas about women's safety when running. And it was led by as a women's running group called This Girl Can. And they're going to have the anonymized data as well, because that's where it all stemmed from. So yeah, the data is being used.
Okay, so if somebody in my club uses the app and logs a position where they were harassed, and then another person does, am I able to look at that? Or
well, yeah, you can see that in your app anyway.
Can I see it on the app or in the portal?
In the app.
In the app. Okay.
Yeah. In the street harassment page.
Yeah.
There's a map and it has all the pins
Oh, and
of where the instance occurred.
Okay, so the pins will accumulate on that map.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it should center on your location.
Yeah.
And then you can zoom out and see.
Okay.
That the instance is now all over the country.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So, and because I'm only interested in the Portsmouth area.
Yeah. Just stay local. Just don't zoom out too far.
Okay. So then anybody running locally could have a look at that map and see if there's any areas which they should possibly avoid.
Well, yeah, and then with this conversation I've had today, and we're going to be talking to West Midlands Police, because obviously we're Coventry based, they are looking at the hotspot. So if there's a particular area, could they load more resources into that area? And I think West Midlands Police are starting a new campaign called Jog Safe, where they're going to be at a local park run to launch that later in the month. So,
okay, right.
Danielle, did you have a point on that?
Yeah, I don't know if we can do this with it being anonymized, etc. But is there a way that, I don't know, welfare officers, etc., could be notified if it's someone within our club who's raised an issue locally? I don't know if you can with data protection, but
well, that's why we're anonymizing the data. The other thing about I was having a discussion today about why anonymize it. Yes, you've got the data protection thing. It's where a person's been at a particular time. But if the point was raised, if say Danielle kept adding locations where she'd been harassed in the street, and it's not anonymized, and it could almost turn into a bit of victim blaming.
And now,
oh, look at Danielle, she's always doing this, that, and the other. But so yeah, so well,
it was more.
So that's why it's going to be just
if
location
it can stay anonymous. But if we know that there's a potential issue that's happened in the local area with one of our club members, so we don't know who it is. It's just that then we can feed back to the club, I guess.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. Yeah, we could send. Because we're going to be setting up an email to West Midlands Police, so in the same time we could send emails to the club if anything's happened. But at the moment, while this system develops, just keep an eye on the map.
Suggestion on that, both for Danielle and Paul, in terms of implementation on the map. Obviously, at the moment you've got the toggle to whether display pins of incidents or not. If you had another toggle to say display just my club.
Yes.
Which would only be available to admins.
That would work.
That would give you
a visibility of what issues geography-wise have been reported for your club, but without it still being anonymized and still therefore not really giving a picture of who it's particularly by. But it may be worth thinking about, Paul, in terms, therefore, I'm thinking as a run leader, actually, I could look at that and go, oh, that's as well, not just, I mean, this would not be the club bit, but actually just looking at my area, I go, that's an area perhaps I might want to avoid on routes.
Yeah.
You say that, Ian, but I'm thinking of it the complete opposite way, that if there is a hotspot, it just gives us as a club more ammunition to go to the police to do something about this potentially.
Well.
Yeah, and also I think when we discuss this more, we're going to start with West Midlands Police. So in the app, you've all got a club information page. So within that page, we will load, when we've got the information, which agencies you can get in contact with if you've got a concern about a particular area. So we'll spread it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good point actually. And is club only stuff, because round by us, we've got, obviously we're Coventry based and most Coventry clubs use the app because we know people, and that's how it spread initially. So our map has neighbouring clubs, so yeah, you wouldn't know which are your club members. So yeah, that's definitely going in.
Yep.
On the street harassment, I'm just looking at the page and the map at the moment, and the reason I couldn't see any because there's a button across the way. I'm not sure it's a button, but it says toggle incidents.
Yeah.
And because I haven't got any in my area, when I hit the button.
And nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Right. Okay. So no one's loaded any in your area.
So maybe if it said instance on and instance off, I would then know whether
I'm just going into it now so I can.
Because if I toggle instance and I've got the whole country shown, and I see there's some in South Wales and some in your area and some around Birmingham and all sorts.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if that button
Had 2 states.
well, yeah, two
No
states.
incidents or hide incidents, depending
Well,
on his
yeah.
country.
yeah,
Yeah, that might be. But I
Yeah, no
understand. I
problem.
understand it more now. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you untoggle? Because I think I've just toggled one in Broadway.
yeah.
Just
Just
it again.
just
Yeah.
press it again.
Press it again.
Yeah, no, I think Mark's quite right. Yeah, we'll do show hide incidents.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing I had was I really want my members to add
Oh, there we are.
themselves to
Press that.
events when they're competing in events. I would like them to put that on the system, and I just can't get them to do it because it makes it so much easier, and it advertises what people are doing, and it makes people sign up for different things, and it also allows us to record their performances and records and all that sort of stuff. But we can only pull that data if they actually sign up for these things.
Yeah.
Anybody got any ideas of how they get them to do it?
I have to admit to being a guilty party of being one of those people who very rarely logs by, despite being one of the people who involved in the creation of the app, not bothering to put my races on anything because I'm just I'm well known for just rocking up at races with barely any preparation generally.
To be fair, Ian does ultra marathons in Snowdonia and forgets about it until about a few days before, and then goes, "Oh, I haven't trained. Oh well, I'll be all right." So, and he does. He knocks out the park. So.
But Paul, is it worth
my own heart.
You're working
yeah, I was
on
just about to say that. Mark, do you use the race league tables? I think you did look at those, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's
wanted,
coming to the app.
yeah,
So
I wanted.
that's going to be a feature in the app that has live road league or race league tables in the app.
Okay.
So by using that feature, which we're working on at the moment,
yeah,
if you enable that in your app, so I could see, hang on, Ian's got 20 more points than me over the season. I better do some more races or get a bit quicker or whatever. So yeah, so rather than that being a feature that clubs have to send out, that will be in an app update shortly.
Okay, that would work with our Hampshire Road Race League.
Yeah. So with obviously, and one idea Ian had was, could Hampshire Road Race League, Warwickshire Road Race League, could they be taggable? So it prompts people to add them in a different way. But yeah, that's something we're looking at now.
Okay, probably wouldn't work with our cross-country league because there's no timing involved.
Yeah, no, it's kind of different, isn't it? Yeah, they're not set distance either. So
no. So okay.
Yeah, so that feature's coming. That might help.
Yeah. Okay.
Encourage more people if they see that they're further down the table than their peers.
Okay.
So coming in on that one, exactly the same problem in our club. We're not a competitive club at all, so it really is more of a social, sort of like running and whatever. There are some people that are competitive, but that's not the ethos of the club. When I do actually promote a race and start pushing people and start talking about it, it's amazing. You get loads of people turn up and they say, "What a great time we had! Yeah, we done this, we done that, and etc." But it never gets traction. So I'm in total agreement with you. It's what happens. I would love to be able to, have an event every, say, 3 months and say, let's all do a 10K, let's all do a half marathon. Just be really, really good. But it's a bit like pulling out elephant's teeth, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I think you just have to keep on at them, repetitive announcements, newsletters or something like that, and just keep pestering.
Keep on it.
I think it's the big stick out again, isn't it?
I think it's FOMO. You need to try and generate FOMO, so perhaps get someone to write a race report or something.
I would add 2 comments. One is part of the reason I don't get involved is because my interests in the type of running events that I do don't align with the general public in my club. Apparently, most people are not keen on running 50 miles up hills and through mud and all the rest of it. So I stand zero chance.
You never know, because nobody wanted to run a marathon until I joined the club. Now everybody's doing marathons.
It's getting better, but I've managed to say about 4 people to do silly things. But when there's definitely the half marathon and 10K distances in particular, it tends to be when I was doing more of those, I was more into it because I would also then scan the list that came out on the email. Oh, these are all the events that people in the club are doing. Oh yeah, when that one looks good, I'll get and go along. Yeah. But overall, I would say the other comment I'd make is the club, you can do all of that, but actually it is the club itself choosing to promote an event on the fear of missing out type thing. Getting people to it is what will drive the most impact. So at my club, we have there's the road race league, which is in the region, but plus a few other key events, which are always ones which a significant number from the club, and it will always get promoted. And so it's nothing to do with people have put it on the app or not. It's just down to talking about it a lot on everywhere and doing FOMO.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question?
Sorry, Joe. Yeah, go on.
No, it's nothing to do with the app, but I've noticed that Gary and Orford and are they sitting in a camper van, a motorhome, or a caravan?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We're in the Cotswolds.
Okay. I'm loving it. Sorry, just had to ask.
Is Matt around? Matt P? Because you got your hand up.
I am. Firstly, apologies for being rude and not having a camera on. I'm stuck on a turbo trainer and nobody needs to see that. Just going back to what you're saying about the league tables. How are you pulling that data?
Sorry, say that again. I missed that.
The league tables you were talking about. How are you pulling that data?
Well, so when I take part in an event, a 10K or whatever, I add that to the app. And because I've got my Garmin watch linked to connectMyClub as well, at the end of the race, it pulls in my finish time. So, and then it works out if that's a PB or a season's best. But I can then manually edit that because Garmin's Strava is never bang on to the second. So then on Organise Races and Race League in the club portal, you can select which races you want to query from all the people in your club. So if you want to find out 10Ks, you can query everybody's 10K finish times, or you can search by event. And as I was saying to Mark, Ian and I were mentioning to Mark, the new Race League feature that's going to go into the app as well. So there's a couple of ways of querying, and there's a couple of ways of adding your race finish times as well. So, and then all that data is in the database, and it's for the club can query that, download a spreadsheet, and do with that data as you wish.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it sounds really useful. So just for context, I'm team manager for Royal Navy Triathlon. And for last year, I basically built by hand a tri-ranking system. But it was literally going onto websites and manually pulling out one person's result after another. And if there's a more streamlined version of doing that, that'd be great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's in there. And with your race league, you can select the distances that you want to include in your race league. So for a running club, 5K, 10K, 10 mile, 10 half marathon, you add in how many points the first person gets. So if it's 100 points, 200 points, and then with all the data in there, it will work out the final league table for you and split it into male and female.
Yeah, sounds like
so hopefully that will take out some of the legwork for you. Danielle, did you have a point on that?
No, I was just going to ask how long until we get that.
So the race league is already on the club portal, and you could have the race league in the app tomorrow if Apple was easier to develop for. But it works lovely on the website, works lovely on Android. But if you scroll down on an Apple device, the table moves around all over the place.
It's
So
an
I've got to
incentive
get that
rid of
fixed.
apples anyway. No one wants an apple anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm
that's
with you.
great because we were gonna be doing a club handicap, so it just kind of stops.
So just one thing to note, speaking, is that it is basically relying on the individual honesty in terms of the data they're putting in. So if you are doing it as a form of club competition and it's coming up to awards night, I would recommend that the winners, you would go and check their data against the official race data, because what we can't do is pull the actual data in from, you know, whatever timing,
Power 10 or something like that.
Whatever timing system is being used. So it's a good guide. It tells you what events people are taking in. It allows you to see, right, these are the top 5. I would then recommend, if it's going to an awards night, you're using it as an award at an awards night or something like that, then do a sanity, a double check to make sure somebody's not trying to pull a fast one. I'm sure nobody would, but it can also happen that somebody's made a mistake, of course.
Yeah.
That changes things for us a little bit because, for instance, I don't wear my watch until T2 in a triathlon, so I'm not able to give you data for 2 race.
Yeah, well, you can manually add that time afterwards. And with triathlons, you could even split it down to the swim, bike, run, leg, and your transition times. If you want to be that nuanced about it, you could put all those in separately, and it works out your overall time.
Of course you do, Paul. Sorry, you can tell you're not a triathlete. That's vital, individual bits of information. And actually, I'm a right, Matt. What I've seen of the rules for this year, we're no longer allowed to wear watches in the swim.
So I think that's professionals only, or elites only.
It's only professional, in which case I'm safe then.
Yeah, I don't think that's me bottles.
Well, I float like a brick, so the swimming side of things, I'm never going to get on board with. So,
Danielle, did you say you do a club handicap?
We did do, yeah. We're looking at reinstating it though. Okay. So,
because we use the Parkrun app, the timing app for people's times, because it downloads to a spreadsheet and it helps us to get people's overall times.
Sorry, the what app? I think
the Parkrun timing app.
Volunteer app.
Yeah. Which has been a bit of a godsend to us because it was difficult. It just reminded me because of Matt saying that he didn't wear a watch, so we're able to do our club handicap. If people decide not to wear a watch, we can still get an accurate time using the Parkrun. Somebody stands at the finish when they're all coming in, tap 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 tap, just like Parkrun, and we get an overall time. So sorry, just a little handy tip in case you know.
Well, no, that's what this is all about. It's not about support for the app. It's about discussing how clubs work and giving ideas to each other. Did anybody? Oh, Andy got his hand up.
Yeah, just a quickie. You mentioned a while ago that your watch downloads to your app.
Yeah.
How?
In your app, if you go to, let me just refresh my memory. So the sidebar menu.
Yeah.
And then my menu at the top.
Yep.
Connected apps.
Yep.
And in there you can connect your Garmin, your Strava, or your Wahoo, or your Sunsu devices.
Now I've got my Garmin connected, but it doesn't seem to download the information.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be going to our database. So if you add an event that you're taking part in,
it will put it into the database that way.
It'll put it into the database that way. So if you're taking part in London Marathon, that's you still work for London Marathon.
Yep.
If that event's in our database already, you can add it to your upcoming events list. If it's not in there, you add the details or some few details. It comes through to us. We add the start location and check the start time. Then if your Garmin says that you did a marathon run from within a mile of where we think the start is at a particular time, it links that as a race, and it will download your finish time from your Garmin and add it to the database.
Gotcha.
And then that will work out. If you put all your previous PBs in,
it will
work out whether that is a PB or a season's best.
Got you.
And then the club have got that data as well. Then it's got an up-to-date list of people's PBs and stuff.
Got it.
Obviously, all that relies on the people putting their initial PBs in, but that's all there. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Does it have to be down as a race in Strava?
No, it just comes through as the. Well, the thing is, a lot of Strava data comes from Garmin anyway. So if Garmin comes in, it will get that data first.
Okay, so even if
So no, it doesn't have to be all it is if it's in our data, if your Garmin device started its run, because all Garmin runs have a coordinates for the start. So if that's within a mile of where we think the start should be, and it's within 10 minutes of the start, it's probably and it's the finish distance is a marathon or a half marathon, give or take a few hundred meters. It's likely to be the fact that you've done.
London Marathon is probably the one that wouldn't work
because of the range of start time. But yeah, so if you did a Great South and your Garmin said I've done a 10.03 mile run and it was at 9 o'clock in the morning and it was within the start, sort of within a mile of where we think the Great South starts, that would the database would say, oh yeah, Mark did Great South.
Okay,
you can delete that afterwards if it's not right, but it works out your PBs and that from that data.
Okay, but if I did a general 10-mile training run and I did it in a really fast time, would it pick that up as a PB for me?
No.
Would it?
No, because it's not. It needs to be linked to a race.
Okay.
In connectMyClub.
Okay.
So as long as you've got that in your upcoming events,
right? Yeah.
Then that would link to that.
Got you.
All right. I've gone to my menu. I haven't got Connect My Device, but you have.
Yep.
What version of the app have you got?
Good question. How will I find that out?
So sidebar menu, all the way down to the bottom and about settings.
Yeah.
And then go to version.
Oh, 3.2.15.
Oh dear.
Oh
yeah, that's old.
Behind the curve.
Yeah, update that to 3.3.0 and you should have that in your sidebar menu. So if no one's got any more questions.
Yep.
I've got an Italian lesson coming up that I have to get to. So normally connectMyClub Live is an hour, so we've had the hour. So hopefully it's been useful for everybody to share ideas and to pick up tips and that kind of thing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So we're going to do this every...
I'm just transferring clubs to Joe's. It's just...
Yeah. I want to go curry night.
I'm liking the idea of a breakfast run and I'm liking the idea of a beer and Skittles night. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus a curry night.
Yeah,
definitely need to come to theirs. Not that far from us.
I know.
And I do meet you at races.
Yeah, well, you're another mad person doing Snowdonia marathons and things like that. Brill, good to see you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your holiday in the Cotswolds.
Thank you very much.